Welcome back. So we have to hurry because I have a client in 40 minutes. I got here a little late to my office. I'm at work. I haven't been in my office in I think 2 weeks. So I was barely remembering like how to get there, what the code is for the door, all that good stuff. But we are here, honey, and we are going to get started with the day and with whatever comes in my head to talk about today. Now, y'all, I have been looking for, and usually I come across news stories, right? That I'm like, oh my God, that is crazy. But recently, all the news has been kind of sad and depressing. So, yeah, I'm just gonna chat. That is the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop Concealer. But I feel good. I feel caffeinated. I have back to back people today because I have no sense, and that is how I schedule people. Anyway, y'all, yesterday was like, was it yesterday? No, Monday, because today is Wednesday. Hopefully this goes up today. Monday, what is wrong with me? Monday was sort of like my last day of vacation. Mondays I usually use for administrative things, and it's so interesting because since I've been a psychologist for a while, like, the people I supervise or hire as associates, oftentimes they're just coming out of their programs, you know? And so I feel like sometimes clients who work with them feel like they can like get one over on them. So I don't know what doctors people go to, but we require that you pay your session fee at the time of the session. What we do is that we will put people on like automatic payment, meaning that at the end, by the end of the day, your card is going to be charged. So if it's not charged right at 2 o'clock when you come in for your session, it's going to be charged by the end of the day. So you don't have to worry about going in and pushing pay, and we don't have to worry about going in and pushing pay. You know, so that's just like one thing less that we have to do. It's just common practice for us. It's not like we're not going to charge you at any other time. And yeah, so let's see what I brought for. So I brought this Copacetic Cosmetics Lots of Love palette. It's just a quad. They have quite a few like quads that you can get. Copacetic does take some time when you order. Like sometimes I forget I've ordered something, so it's like a surprise when I go check in the mail. So let's use one of these. Let's try this one. I know sometimes their flakies or whatever are kind of hard to work with, so okay, I'm not gonna do that. Let's wipe that off if we can. So one thing I think a lot of us as therapists struggle with is talking about fees, talking about how much you have to pay for a session, because especially with counseling psychologists, which that's what I am, we have this social justice background, and it's more about being collaborative and blah, blah, blah. And so it can be a little awkward to be like, yeah, this is the price for my services. So already we don't learn how to do that in grad school. So when I initially started as in like private practice, I really had to get comfortable with like, this is the fee, I need you to pay it, right? So with time, I'm like, yeah, I need you to pay it because I like love working with you, and also I need to pay my bills, so I need you to pay for the services that I'm providing. And I had to learn, like, I am an expert in certain things, you know, I have an expertise, and it's okay for people to pay for that. Anyway, so I notice with some of my newer folks, they struggle with that, which I totally understand because I struggled with it. But I feel like sometimes they'll get clients that are just pushing back. Like clients who are like, well, why do I have to pay it right away? Or like, I need to wait until the 15th or whatever. And I'm like, first of all, what doctor's office can you go to? Like, they don't even let you out the door if you have to pay something and you haven't paid it, you know? So I'm like, what doctor's office do you go to where you don't have to pay like immediately or like soon, you know? Like, I feel like I give some latitude to people, and typically I'm like, as long as you can get it all in by the end of the month, that's cool, because that's when I do all of the billing. Yes, I have to do all of the billing. And so it just really, like, I want people to pay on time so that I can pay my associates on time. Like, I don't know. I just want to make sure that they're okay and that they are, you know, surviving on whatever they're getting paid or whatever. Anyway, so I've had to like email or contact a couple of these people and be like, no, this is my policy. I am the practice owner, and I'm gonna need you to pay so that your therapist can get paid, because if they don't pay, I can't pay the therapist. And I don't think people realize that for some reason. I also think part of it is like, people just don't respect, in my opinion, they don't respect like therapists, psychologists as much as like medical doctors. And so I think that's part of it. And I think because my one newest associate, she's like young, she's super nice, you know, very caring. And so she hasn't gotten to the point where it's like, I'm not going to see you unless you pay for the last 2 sessions that I essentially did for free, you know, like, so I've had to help her be more, just more assertive, because I also think they just see her as like, she's an excellent therapist. I should know, I trained her. But I think they also see her as like super young, and you know, they could just be like, oh yeah, I'll pay you later. And I'm like, girl, like, this is something we're gonna have to work on it, because this is not good business practices. Like, whenever I assume one day she's gonna go out on her own from my practice. Like, whenever you do that, you're gonna have to be like on top of it, because this is your bread and butter. Like, you're providing a service with, she has an expertise, and it's okay to ask for payment for that. But it's just not something that we are typically trained in, like the business side of psychology. I have consistently said that I would totally teach a class on the business side of psychology, because they honestly just don't teach us. So it's a lot of like learning from others or just trying things out. But I've just had, it's interestingly been mostly her folks that are like fighting the payment piece. And I don't necessarily want to step in and be like, let me handle it, because I want her to be able to do that for herself. But I had to step in twice now, because I'm like, listen, you're gonna have to pay, because your therapist is providing you a service, and it's really like disrespectful to play around. Because it's like awkward, right? Because we're in this helping profession, and I think that's part of it. Like, as helping professionals, as healers, as all of that stuff, it is hard to be like, that's how much it costs. But also, it's like, we have to survive also. And you definitely don't get into psychology to be rich, okay? You just don't. It's not part of the plan for that. So anyway, that's just been really annoying, because I do feel like they're trying to assert dominance over her, because she's like in her late 20s, almost 30s, you know? And I remember that. I remember people thinking I was an intern, and I'm like, I'm a full-on doctor. Like, nothing wrong with being an intern. I was an intern. But just this lack of respect as well, you know, especially for therapists who are people of color. Like, it's just like, So I'm trying to teach her to be more assertive. I don't want her to lose like the compassion and the collaborative approach that she has, because I don't think I've lost that, but also my clients know, girl, you have to pay or talk to me about, I'm very willing to, if it's something that you need but you can't necessarily afford the fee, I'm totally up to like, let's figure out what you can afford. But it's just about saying something. And I do pro bono work, so basically free therapy. I do reduced fees. I do all of that. So if people talk to me, I'm able to be like, okay, you know, let's figure this out. What is going to be helpful? Does this work for both of us? I'm usually pretty open to most things. But I'm trying not to step in with her clients and be like, listen, I'm gonna need you to pay, okay? But I did tell her that she could throw me under the bus and be like, it's the practice owner's policy. And that if they have a problem, they can speak directly to me. Because somebody sent her a little shady email. And I was like, I got this, girl. Let me respond. And I did. And they haven't responded to my response because... don't play with first of all, don't play with my associates, because I'm gonna come hard for you. And also just like respect the business practices. Like, that's what makes me feel like there's a lack of respect within, like, for her, and also like within our field. People just be thinking, I don't know what they be thinking. We are not pastors. Like, you can't just come to Sunday service and get, you know, a free sermon. Like, we're literal doctors. Anyway, what was I gonna tell y'all about? First of all, animals are revolting and they are coming for us, okay? I have been reading about all of these animals out here like attacking folks. There was something where this man woke up, went into his like garage, and there was a bear and a bear cub. Like, and there was another guy who went into his living room, there was a bear. And in Florida, they're finding ball pythons. I don't even know what that is. All you gotta tell me is python, okay? And I'm not gonna be there. But they found like 22 of them in 4 weeks. No. And why is it always Florida? Why is it always Florida? Everything is in Florida. Why? Florida is the one that had those big old snails. Didn't they have like some big frogs or something? Don't live in Florida. Like, don't live there. I've been to Florida. I've been to Florida on numerous occasions. And I'm like, first of all, I don't understand how it's blazing hot and then it's raining and then the sun is out again. And like, how do I dress for that? But yeah, these animals, like, have you heard of the otter? Is it in California? But this otter is like attacking boats. And I think there were like some whales attacking boats. Somebody got like swiped at by a bear, like all this stuff. I'm like, y'all, animals are done with us. Animals are done with humans. And they're like, you know what? It's time for us to get y'all out of here. Like, we need you to go. And you know what? I'm not mad at it. I am not mad at it. I get it. Kick us out. We came to your place of residence and have been acting a fool. Oh, there was another one. It was in like Belgium. What was that one? Let me see, because I think I wrote it down. Yeah. Otters and raccoons are overrunning Belgium. And then there's an invasive creature coming to the US, and it's like a strange looking worm. Ew. Okay, I don't like worms. I did dissect one in high school. That was fun. What's it called? You know, I won't tell you what I dissected in college because you'll be mad. But this worm can reproduce by splitting itself in two, and it secretes the same toxin found in a puffer fish. That'll kill you. So I'm just like, where are they coming from? But animals are about to revolt, y'all. They already revolting. You've been hearing all these new species that they've been finding. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I support this. I'm gonna leave them alone because I'm not trying to get in their way. I'm not trying to. Girl, could you imagine opening your bedroom door and it's a bear right there? You could have the whole house, sir. Let me just grab my cat and like my laptop. You could take everything else. Don't even trip. Okay, these are some Sydney Gray shades from my Focus palette. So I'm just gonna use the brown to add a little bit of depth. Girl, so speaking of being in people's space, so I was reading this thing, the news, some kind of news, and they were like, some restaurants are putting in this new like policy that you only have a certain amount of time at your table. So basically, you come into the restaurant and they seat you and they're like, you got 90 minutes. So basically, they're like, you have 90 minutes or whatever amount of time to eat your food, and then we need you to leave. Because we need to get other customers in here, or we need to turn over the table, whatever. And on one hand, I totally get it, because they're probably talking about people like me. I like to sit down and like talk, and you know, we're not ready to order yet. Or can I have another martini? You know, one of those people that like drags it out because we sitting there being a fool. So I get it. You want us to get out of your restaurant, your place of business, so that you can turn over that table, and you know, you can, the wait staff can get another table and get some tips. I do tip very well though, but I understand. They're like, we gonna need you to go, because this isn't like a coffee shop or like a library where you can just chill. I'm like, okay girl, I get it. But I'm just like, how do you do that? Like, what if I'm there and it's like, you said 90 minutes and it's like 91 minutes. Are you just gonna come and start like taking my plate? Like I mean, you gotta go. Can I pay for another 90 minutes? Like, how does this work? But I'm still not mad at that either, because you know, you're not supposed to be sitting there forever. You're supposed to eat your food and go. But I think a lot of us are used to like, it's like not a party, but it's like a gathering, you know? Like, we're coming here, we're gonna have a good time, we're just gonna like eat and talk and you know, all that. But some of these restaurants are like, you got to go, which I understand it. Have y'all encountered that? Like, I don't even know what I would do. I think sometimes they also tell you, if you're like making a reservation, they're like, so policy is that you have 45 minutes to eat and then go, because we're gonna have someone who is right after you and taking your table. Like, what if you're the second person coming in? Like, are you supposed to be like, are you done? Because like, I need you to hurry up with that after dinner coffee because it's my turn. Like, I don't know how they put this into practice. I don't know if it's higher end restaurants. I don't know if it's just like your local Chipotle. I don't know what it is, but if you experience that, please tell me, because I really want to know how it works. Because I'm not trying to get kicked out. Speaking of restaurants, have y'all seen that there are some places, some restaurants that are advocating for children as young as 14 to be able to to be able to serve alcoholic beverages? How do you feel about that? How do you feel like about that? Because I know, like, I'll have some college students who work at like bars and stuff, and they can't like serve the alcoholic drink because they have to be 21. But now they're trying to say like, girl, if you coming in, you 14, you back here being a dishwasher, we're gonna have you deliver these margaritas also. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. I mean, I guess it would be fine. I'm not sure. And are they making the drink? Like, I don't know that I need a 14-year-old making my, like, vodka soda. You know, I don't know. I feel a little weird about that. I don't know. But, like, it's also a skill. Like, you're learning a skill, right? Like, maybe you want to be a sommelier or, like, a bartender or something when you get older. So I'm not sure. How would you feel if your 14-year-old child was at a restaurant and they were serving drinks? How would you feel? How would you feel? I don't know. What would you be like? Oh yeah, that's my daughter, girl. She'll bring us over a pitcher of sangria. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Child, I know one thing though. I need to hurry up. I'm trying to get this to... We'll come back to that. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that. I can't decide. Okay, that's fine, you know. Make your money and all that good stuff, but I'm not sure. Speaking of restaurants again, or food, so there was this lady, I think it was in Australia. So she invited these two couples over for dinner. They were like older folks, like in their 70s. I think one couple, there were two couples, and then a woman and like her kids or something. And so she invited them over for dinner. Everybody's like, they were pillars of the community, you know, like those kind of good people, right? And they all ate. They're having a good old time. And then that night, the two couples, all four of them got sick. This is the Danessa Myricks blurring balm in the universal shade. All four of them got sick. And a couple days later, 3 out of the 4 are dead. And the 4th one is in the hospital in critical condition, waiting for a liver transplant. So they're like, WTF, what happened there? So they figure out that they were poisoned by some kind of mushroom. Let me tell you the name of this mushroom just so that you make sure not to eat it. It's called death cap, or Aminata phalloides. Sorry, I'm not a mushroom expert. But it is one of the deadliest known mushrooms to humans. Here's the thing. They said that this mushroom, it kind of looks like all the other mushrooms in the world. And it actually tastes pretty good. Apparently. I ain't eating it. But they're like, the curious thing out of all of this is the woman who invited them over for dinner. Her and her kids, they ain't sick. I'm not one to say that somebody's doing something that I don't have any evidence that they're doing, but that seems a little suspect to me. How I'm gonna come over to your house, I'm using the Sephora best skin ever. How I'm gonna come over to your house all of a sudden, I go home and I'm like, girl, like my stomach hurt, what's going on? And I gotta go to the hospital and they're like, sir, you've been poisoned, girl. Like, I'm sorry, this is where I went last night, but she ain't poisoned. How come the guests are poisoned, but she ain't? So what I took away from this is, I'm not gonna eat at nobody's house. Not only that, I ain't gonna eat no mushrooms. Like, keep them to yourself, because I'm not trying to be over here like enjoying me like some mushroom soup or like some pasta with some mushrooms or pizza with mushrooms on top. And then I go home like, ow, why don't I feel well? Why is my liver not functioning anymore? I would never eat nothing that lady pulled out of her bag. I wouldn't even take a piece of gum from her. I would not take a peppermint candy. I wouldn't take anything because that don't make no sense. Tell me where the sense is at, because I don't see it. That don't make no sense. And now homegirl is being like investigated. Of course we're gonna investigate you. How everybody else but you and your kids had mushrooms first of all. And how are 3 out of the 4 dead? But you not. And your kids not. Like, don't do that to the kids. But that don't make no sense to me. How is she not culpable? How is she not guilty? I mean, innocent until proven guilty, but all the signs are pointing to you. the signs are pointing to you, girlfriend. That's what I know. Death caps. And I'm sorry, why are people like, ooh, but they taste good? Humans are stupid. We're like, I just want some good food. Let's take our chances. This is the Marc Jacobs Extra Shot Concealer. I'm trying to figure out, you know, as I age, the best places to put concealer. Because, you know, we can't do that whole, I don't think anybody's been doing that for a while. Speaking of makeup, though, did y'all hear that Jaclyn Hill is, like, closing her brands? She has some fashion jewelry brands, or brand, but she also has her makeup brands. Girl, apparently, she closing all of them. I haven't bought anything from Jaclyn Hill, but I know some people actually like some of the stuff that she has. I don't know why she made this decision, but I was reading, and I guess she was, like, making light of a few years ago when she had the fuzzy lipsticks. I guess she was, like, joking about it on, like, TikTok or something, I don't know. And people were, like, coming for her, like, not you making fun of something serious. Like, do you know Jaclyn Hill? But yeah, she's closing all her brands, girl. So I guess if you want something, you better hurry up and go to Ulta or something. Like, sometimes I feel for Jaclyn Hill, and then sometimes I'm like, Jaclyn Hill is not thinking about me. I will tell you that much. I do not cross her mind. And then y'all know the like writers and stuff have been on strike for like 100 days. I was about to say 100 years. Like 100 days. What I didn't really realize, because I hadn't really thought about it, like the actors who are like big, like movie stars, like they're good, they make a lot of money, but these actors that are like occasionally on shows and things like that, girl, I saw that some of them be getting like pennies to the dollar, like they're not getting much money. And so they are like, everybody's struggling, the writers, the actors, not the big stars, they're fine. Like I'm sure that Harrison Ford is good, The Rock, what's his name? Dwayne Johnson. I'm sure he's good. That fool, Tom Cruise, I'm sure he's good. You know, all those people, they're good to go. Emma Stone, everybody. But some of these, like, smaller actors, they are struggling. I've read somewhere where some people, they thought they were going to make it big or at least have some consistent work. Now they're, like, check out people at the grocery store. Nothing wrong with that at all. I really appreciate those folks. Or they're like trying to do landscaping or something. Just all these things that like the strike is really affecting them, which is understandable. I also support the strike because I think people should be paid for their work. But Billy Porter, y'all know Billy Porter, he said he gonna have to sell his house. I don't know if that's true or if he was being like facetious, because you know a lot of us like to exaggerate things, but he was like, girl, like I was supposed to be in these shows, now I'm not in these shows, and I'm gonna have to sell this house that I thought I was gonna like move into. Which just like, it kind of boggles my mind. Things like Beyonce makes like $1 million on a show, on her performance, which, you know, like she's talented, right? But how are you gonna be making all that money and the people we watch on like TV, which is a whole other thing now that we have streaming services, but the people we watch on that are making like 50 cents, if that. Like it just doesn't seem fair. And I know the world isn't fair, but like daggone, these people are entertaining us. Like shouldn't they get a little bit of money? I don't know why I thought like, I don't know what I thought, but I didn't think that they were struggling like that. I did not think that. How is that? All these people have like all this money and then all these people don't, right? It just doesn't seem like a good distribution of wealth. Speaking of wealth, so when I was in Vegas, I took an Uber for various things, and so my Uber to my Uber to the airport, girl, it was a Tesla, and I was like, excuse me, I've never been in a Tesla. Okay, tell me why they're special. Like, first of all, I didn't know how to work the trunk because home dude didn't even get out the trunk to help me with my bags. So I guess Tesla drivers don't feel like they have to help. And then I didn't know how to open the door. So he's like shouting at me how to do everything. I'm like, okay, you could just come out and help me do it, but whatever. And then I don't even think I knew how to get out the car. And okay, so I get in the Tesla. It seems to drive very smooth, and it has like this big screen or something. But what's so special about it? Was I missing something? Because I'm like, girl, you could have picked me up in a Honda, and I know how to work those. It just didn't feel like, aren't they super expensive? Like, it didn't feel, I don't know. And maybe it was just because I was in a short ride to the airport. I was like, but what is the big deal about these Teslas? Let me know if you have a Tesla. Maybe I could drive it for a little bit. I'll bring it back. Like, but maybe I can just borrow it to see what it's about, because I didn't quite understand. Even when he pulled up, I'm like, that looks like a real sleek, like, Hyundai. You know? Like, I don't know. And my sister was like, oh my God, I would love a Tesla. I'm like, girl, why? Your Mazda is so fine. Like, so I don't know. And they're probably so expensive to, like, fix, right? Girl, I don't know. I was trying to understand what the big deal was about these Teslas. Like, I thought maybe they were gonna be flying or something just like special like that. But as far as I know, it didn't fly. As far as I know, girlfriend. Let me see if I have any other stuff that I thought was interesting. Probably not. What's that? Did y'all see that fight in Alabama? It was a black-white thing. So this black, like, dock worker, I think, he was, like, trying to tell these white men to, like, move on or something. I don't know all the details. But I guess they didn't want to. So they start fighting the man, like beating on him. Child, that was the wrong thing to do, because all these black people came out the woodwork. Like, some of the dudes were like skipping, like, we were ready. And then these other white individuals, they came out the woodwork. Girl, it was a knockdown, drag out fight. People were falling in the water. People were being thrown in the water. Like, men were fighting. Women were fighting. Like, people, and they were beating on each other. Like, it wasn't like a little tap, tap, tap. They were beating on each other. Like we were in, like, WWE Raw Live, you know? WWF. It was WWF when I was growing up. Like, just beating the hell out of people. It was like, people were coming from, I don't even know where. Like, where you come from, people are crawling out the water, crawling into the water. It's just like, all these people getting thrown in the water. Then somebody picked up, like, one of those folding chairs from church. Y'all remember those? One of the white ones. And he was bashing people. Girl, it was crazy. Did y'all see that? I was also like, what would I do in that situation? I guess I would grab me a chair too, at least my bag, and just be like, you know, trying to help people out. But I think the white individuals are being charged because they kind of instigated the whole thing. Child, I was like, okay, let's see how this plays out, because, and, you know, people are like joking about it. I love Black Twitter, but, like, in all seriousness, that's kind of scary. Like, I don't know. It seemed like it didn't seem like it was just that situation that they were reacting to. It seemed like it was just built up like racial tension. Each side was like fighting for their people. Okay, and y'all know. Oh, two things. Okay, so yesterday, Monday, I don't know what I'm talking about. I think it was Monday. So I was gonna hang out with G, you know, the new boo. So I was trying to look all cute because, like, we're at the point where it's like, you already seen me looking a mess, so. But I was like, you know what? Let me actually try today. So I was looking all cute, y'all. I had on this cute little dress and like my sandals, and I was smelling good. And then I go to my car. And I push a little button because I have one of the ones where you push the button while you hold the brake down. Girl, all the lights just flashed in the car, and the car was just like silent. I'm like, what's happening? Maybe I pushed something wrong. So I'm like, let me try again. Nothing. So I'm like, I know this car is not working. Child, so I'm trying. Ain't nothing changing, girl. The car is like, no. Like, the car is like, we're not doing this today. So I called G, and I'm like, my car won't start. And he's like, at your house? Where else is gonna be, baby? Where else is gonna be? Yes, it's at my house. Wasn't I just at my house a minute ago? So he's at work, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna call you right back. Because he's like talking to a client or something. I'm like, tell them this is important. Tell them your boo car won't start. So I decide I'm not waiting for him to call me back. Like, I want my car to start now. So I call my mechanic, and my mechanic is like, it sounds like you need a jump. I'm like, okay. So I call AAA. AAA comes out. He jumps the car starts. Then I turn it off. The car don't start back. So before the AAA man left the parking lot, I was like, sir, it's not starting. And he was like, okay, so you need like a whole new battery. By this time, I'm hot, I'm sweaty from like the anxiety of it all, and it's also hot outside. So by this time, I don't even look cute anymore. I just look like a drowned rat. So he fixes he puts in a new battery, and boo calls, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna come get you a jump. I'm like, boy, I'm on the way to your house. Like, I already got the car started. Because, you know, he works on CPT. Y'all know what CPT is. And I'm like, sir, 5 minutes does not mean 30 minutes. Like, I'm gonna need you to get it together. But we did have a good time together once I was able, like, to actually drive over there and hang out. And I wanted to hang out at his house because he was like, oh, I'll come over. And I was like, the house is a mess. Like, no, I'll come to you. Because we're not going to do this right now. And then the piece de resistance has to be a story about my mother, right? So we were in Vegas, you know. I had a wonderful time with my mom. Like, it was a good time for us to just like hang out, spend time with one another. Which one do I want to use? This is a Lancome mascara. My mom and I are talking, and we're talking about her like coming to see me. But my mom gets kind of ill on planes. Like, we have like similar issues of like, we like to pass out and stuff. So we were talking about the train, which she's actually taken before. I'm like, that takes a long time, but you know, it could be the safest option. She doesn't get ill on like on the ground. So we were talking about taking trains and stuff. I don't even know how we got to this, but she meant to say you could take a train to Virginia. Instead of that, my mother said, you can take a train to vagina. I fell out. I couldn't even talk. That's how hard I was laughing. I'm like, girl, first of all, you want a hoe from Amazon. Now you taking a train to vagina. What's happening? What's going on between you and my father? Like, what are y'all doing? Okay, I don't want to know. I want to know. Live your life. But what's happening? And me and my mom were laughing so hard. Like, my back actually started hurting. Like, what just happened? Oh, okay. My back actually started hurting. And I had tears streaming down my face. Oh my God. So then I called my brother, and he thought I was crying because I was just like howling. And he's like, what's going on? I was like, let me tell you about your mother. So, so then, so then my brother is just being so stupid. You know how, I don't know if you're one of those people that will just drag a joke out until you can't, like, you're done. You have beat that dead horse to like a pulp. So we dragged this out, and we are just howling laughing when I tell you. It was just so funny. And my mom was laughing too, because as soon as she said it, she was like, vagina. I'm hot. I was like, Mommy, you know I'm going to tell people on my YouTube channel what you just said, girl. Whew, Jesus be offense. Train to vagina. I'm like, girl, I don't know where that's located. Let me know. Like, I don't know where it's located at. This is just an LA Girl lip liner in the shade Berry Wine. I think I only have, like, I have a full day, but I think most people are doing telehealth today. I know my person this morning, they definitely want to come in, or are coming in. They prefer that, which is fine. I forgot I had this headband on. So that's been all the interesting stuff amidst a lot of like not good stuff, you all. It's been a struggle lately. It's been a struggle. I'm hanging in there. But yeah, I think that's it. I have 7 minutes. I'm gonna go bother my sweet mates for a little bit. Yeah. So hopefully some of this was helpful. I also hope that you are continuing to take care of yourself, drinking a balanced amount of water, because I read this story where this lady drank like, how much did she drink? She drank a lot of water in a short amount of time. And you know, there's such a thing called water toxicity. Y'all know about that, right? Like if you have too much water. She drank half a gallon of water in 20 minutes. Don't do that. It could literally kill you. And so she passed away from drinking all that water. So here's to say, drink a healthy amount of water. Don't overdo it. Make sure that you're getting also your electrolytes and sodium and all that stuff to balance it out, because water is good, but you, just like everything, you don't want to overdo it. So there's that. And make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you have seen or read or heard any news stories. Hopefully next week I'll have some funner ones. You know, from Legally Blonde when she says funner. No? Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.